record. So, although in that meeting I did learn something about Zoom registration, you'll have to explain more, Catherine. So, all right. So today we are talking about closed captioning of videos. So when you are creating a video, there's lots of different videos that you can put together. If you have an evergreen video, meaning a video that you're probably going to use from class to class to class to class, you're definitely going to want to close caption that video. If you are, say, helping a student with an English paper and you're providing feedback or reviewing some code and providing feedback, you probably don't have to close caption those videos unless the individual has an accommodation that they need the video to be closed captioned for whatever reason, okay? But, you know, for those real quick videos, you probably don't have to close caption every single video. But definitely evergreen type stuff, if you are showing, you know, for example, you're doing a course on databases, and you're showing how this product works, and you're planning to use that from course to course to course, yeah, absolutely, it definitely needs to be closed caption. So that's what we are talking about today in doing the closed caption. Serving your videos, I strongly recommend that you put them up on YouTube. Okay, so don't try to put them directly into Blackboard, you know, upload them into Blackboard. It is not a good user experience. So the best user experience is to put them up into YouTube and let YouTube serve them. Now, some folks are a little skittish that they don't want the whole world to see them. And so what you can do is you can upload them as unlisted. So, in the chat, let's go to the chat real quick. If you are not familiar with uploading to YouTube, let me know that in the chat. So go in there. If you do not know how to upload to YouTube, let me know that. If you do, then that's fine. I just want to know whether to dive into the closed captions or quickly show how to upload a video. Okay, I will take a few moments to do that. Thank you. So let me share my screen. Let me create an incognito window. And share my screen. So uploading a video to YouTube is honestly not that hard. So the first thing that you need to do is log into, I'm going to say, your JCC account. I personally use my private account because, you know, this happens to be my third higher ed institute, so I hate to lose all the stuff that I ever created. So I use my personal account and save everything in there. That's why I do it. But we're going to make the assumption that you're going to use your personal account. So you go to myjcc.sunijcc.edu and you go to your Google account. Jeff, that's why you haven't uploaded videos. It goes through this Google account thing. All right, so so from there, once you've logged into your account, you would click on the 9 dots, and one of the options, and it may be hidden a little further down, but one of the options is YouTube. So you would select YouTube. And it's asking me to sign in. Once I'm basically signed in, I'm signed in. So now I have the ability to upload a file. On this menu, up in the upper right, you have what looks like a kind of a video camera with a plus. And if you mouse over it, it'll say create. So when you click on that, you have an option to upload a video. So I will click on that. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Stop that. I just want to upload my video, folks. Okay. There we go. So when you click on that, you should have this screen. And from there, you should be able to drag a video. Let me find a real short one that I've been working on. All right, this looks like the shortest I have. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do is drag it over, drop it in, or you can click on select files and it will do that thing. So while it's uploading, you now have an option to provide a title and a description so folks can understand more about the video. So intro to Counseling Center. Okay. If you wait until it's finally uploaded and processed and all that, you can select a thumbnail, and that's basically how it'll show up in YouTube when you do a search. You'll have this little thumbnail and it'll look nice. So you can create your own thumbnails and put them up there. You know, so if you have a series of videos, history series, for example, you can create nice images that you would plug in there. So it'll tell you a little more about that, what size image you need to do that. If you have playlists, you can put them into a playlist. So if it happens to be, you know, using history for a little bit, dealing with World War II, you can have a playlist dealing with World War II and put that video there, which would be different than World War I and the Vietnam War and the Korean War and all the wars that we've been in, right? You can keep them separate. You will want to check, no, it's not made for kids. Okay, so that's something you will make sure that you check. And once you are done filling out all those things, you click on next. And next again. And from here, you decide whether it's going to be private, unlisted, or public. And in this case, I'm just doing it unlisted. Private, I really don't recommend that you use private, because then you have to use, you know, exact email addresses to share with people. It's a real hassle. Unlisted allows you to share the link, and you can share the link with folks, and you will go from there. And then once you're done, you click save, and it will continue processing until it's done doing what its thing is. But it will allow you then to have a shareable link. So you'll see your video listed in your channel of videos. You can get a shareable link. So it's copy to the clipboard. I can now go into Blackboard or put it in an email or whatever I want and share that link out. So part of the processing, what it's doing, and this takes a little bit more time, is it will also create a rough closed caption. Okay, so probably tomorrow, if I come check on this video, there'll be a rough closed caption with that particular video. Okay, but that's how you upload a video. Questions while I'm at this point in time? Nope. I lost Jeff though. Okay. So here we are. I went back to my account because this is where I have a lot of videos and we can, you know, actually walk through the closed captioning part of it. All right, so now it comes time that I need to create a closed caption for my particular video. As with everything, there are many ways to do it. Some are harder than others. Some are easier. So, hey, Jeff, welcome back. So, the place to start. First of all, I have to get to my videos. In the upper right-hand corner, next to the bell, is basically my account. So if I click on that, one of the options that I have is YouTube Studio. So when I click on YouTube Studio, that will show me all the videos that I have basically created. It'll provide me with all kinds of information, you know, data and stuff like that. But we want to create closed captioning, so I will go over to, on the left-hand menu, select videos. And here's a list of all my videos. I don't know how many I have. I have a few, so hundreds, I think. So the one I need to do a closed caption on today is this Welcome to Section 3 of Humanizing Online Learning, Teaching and Learning course. So I go down to this video, and as I mouse over it, there is a details button that becomes available to me. And I mean, next to that is analytics, comments. You can watch this on YouTube with the options. I could also get a shareable link right from here. I can edit title and description, you know, just different things I can do. But I want to go to the first option, which is details. So I select the details. And so here is my video. And the first way I'm going to show you is called a direct edit. So right now, this is 33 seconds long, so this is manageable. When I have something that is an hour long, it's not manageable to do it this way. But this one is a short one, so that's why I picked it. And this is manageable, so we'll do this. So over on the left-hand menu now, you will select Subtitles. And basically, you will initially have two options. You'll have one that says English Automatic Published. And like I said, this won't show up until it's processed. So it may take a day or two before that is available to you. Hold on one second. I'm just going to go beat a dog. So I'll be back in a second. Sorry about that. Obviously, a dog came in our hemisphere and not acceptable. So I am back. So like I said, you'll normally have two options. One says English automatic, and then one below it'll say add plus. And what we're going to do is click on the published. And this will show you your video, what you have spoken. And when you go to click on edit, it will allow you to go in and make changes to this to the video. So I may do some capitalization, add some punctuation to this. Section 3, blah, blah, blah. Add a, I don't want to say a hyphen. It should be an M dash, but we're just moving on. About your online learning. And then I go to the next section, and this happens to be a very quick one, and I can go through and just kind of edit. What you're going to want to do is also listen to it and to make sure that it's in fact what you're saying, because the idea of a transcription or a closed caption should be an accurate representation of what you're saying. Now, personally, I don't put the ums in there. I mean, I do, but I don't write them out. So I just kind of ignore those. But I add ums everywhere. I've come to find out. All right, welcome to section 3, talking about humanizing your online learning. One of the ways that we're going to do this is creating videos, and you are going to start creating videos. Cool. Okay, so I know I need to put some punctuation there and, do some capitalization. And then once you are done, you would just click on Save Changes. And it will go and save the changes, and you're pretty much good to go for that. Publishing these subtitles will overwrite the existing subtitles, and we are good to go. And I will now return to YouTube Studio. So Catherine's asking, so the rough closed caption is provided for all YouTube downloads? Yes. And I would say it's probably 85 to 95% accurate. The problems that you have are certainly capitalization, punctuation. It does not know how to spell Scrabbit to save its life, so I have to make changes there all the time. Every time it's a unique spelling. So yeah, so that, that is one way to do it. Let's see, does this also work for a Zoom meeting? So yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this, because each of these Zoom presentations that I've been doing, I have been doing the closed captions for them also. And I'll towards the end I'll tell you how, and I'll show you how I'm doing them. But they can be a little it can be a little long. But for a Zoom recording, so if you save your Zoom recording and upload it to YouTube, it will do the closed captioning for it, give it a day or two, and you could go back and see this rough closed captioning. So the answer is yes. MP4, the file format, MP4 is, yes, perfect. Upload an MP4 file. Okay, so that is the file type. That's the preferred file type. What else? Any other questions on that particular process? No? Okay. So The next process is that I use for longer videos. And I'm going to just use the same video as an example so I can keep it manageable. But this is the process that I use if, say, I'm doing something that's 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, probably the most. This is the process that I would use. So, same thing. You go into your YouTube account, go to the video studio. You would go to your particular video. And so in this case, I'm going to go back to that section 3, go back to that video, and once again, click on details. And click on subtitles. So steps are exactly the same, exactly the same. Here's where it's a little different. So over where it says English Automatic, or I probably can use the newest one, but I'll use this English Automatic. Over by next to Publish, you have these 3 dots. And if you click on Download, you have an option to download, and I would download the .sbv, Sierra Bravo Victor, SBV, and download that file type. And since I'm doing it in Google Chrome, I go down and show it in the folder. And there is my SBV file. I want to open this into what I want to do is open it up into Microsoft Word, actually. So I will right click on it and select Open With, look for More Apps, and open up with Microsoft Word. And click OK. All right, so this particular file, let me change the view just a little bit. Zoom. All right. So when you get a file, this SBV file it basically provides the timestamps for everything that you are, everything that's being said. It shows you what the timestamps are. That is not a fun way to edit something and get it right. So this process, and I will provide a link, I'll share a link. I have this process written out for you. I have been using this process probably for 30 years. And so it has helped me quite a bit in manipulating these type of documents. So I've rewritten the process a little bit just to handle these type of videos. I could automate it, but I haven't. But this is where we're at. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is press Control H. So Control H does a find and replace. And what I want to do is I want to find 2 carriage returns that are next to each other and replace it with a unique set of characters and you'll kind of see why as I'm working through this. So if you're not sure what a carriage return is, if you select more and you go down to special, a paragraph mark or a carriage return is basically the symbol for a caret with a P. So caret P. And I want to find two of those next to each other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with 3 @ signs, because I have not found 3 @ signs together anywhere in normal writing. So this is a very unique phrasing that I'm using. And I replace all. Bam. So it did it 17 times, and it now looks like this. Bear with me. So now I want to find one carriage return and replace it with a tab. And so this is a caret T. So this creates a tab. And I'm going to replace all. So now it looks like this. And then finally, I'm going to look for those 3 @ signs and replace it with a paragraph mark. So a caret P again, and replace all. And now I'll close my search and replace. So I've taken things that were stacked on top of each other, and I moved them so they are side by side. What I'm going to do now is highlight that whole text, and I'm going to, on the menu, select Insert, and under Table, I want to change this, convert the text to a table. And it will do it based on the tabs. So now I have something that looks like this. And the whole goal is so I can get rid of this column. So I'll select the left-hand column, right-click in it, and, well, let me highlight everything in the column. Whoops, far too many columns. And delete columns. So now I have it down to 1 column. The next piece took me a little bit of figuring out, and I put the instructions in there. But what I need to do is adapt my customized toolbar. So up at the very top, that blue bar for Microsoft Word, you can select more commands that you can add to that toolbar. And the one I'm looking for is convert table to text. They didn't make it convenient, but it's now there. So I've selected my table. Hold on, let me do that different. I'm gonna basically click in one of the cells for my table and then convert to text, and okay. So it may seem like a lot of steps that I've gone through, but you're going to find out that just doing it this way for a multi-page document is going to be a lot easier. So now the very last thing I do is go back to that Control-H for search and replace. And I am looking for all the paragraph markers and changing them to a single space and replace all. Boom. So now I have the text ready to be edited, and I can start doing some edits right away and work my way through the text and get it the way I want. And now all I'm going to do is, whoops. I am going to watch my video, or listen to my video. And before I do that,
All
All right, welcome to section 3. Hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself there. When I'm getting ready to listen to my video, one of the things I do is on the settings for the video is I change the playback speed from normal to 0.75. Depending on how fast you can keep up with it. And the reason is I need to be able to kind of watch the text and listen to it and try to make changes on the fly as I'm doing it. And I found that going at normal speed it does not help me. So basically here I am, I'll listen to this, see if we can get two things on the screen at one time. So I'm looking at my text, and all I have to do is just be able to listen to it. All right, welcome to section 3. Talking about humanizing your online learning. One of the ways that we're going to do this is creating videos, and you are going to start creating videos. Cool thing is, we're going to show you a lot of different. And then I'll pause it, and if necessary, I'll go back and I'll, just keep doing this, but working through my, working through the video and listening to it. So, yeah, that is as far as editing. What questions do you guys have? Let me take a pause from that for a second. So I know it's like, oh my God, he's showing all these different things. Like I said, I have step-by-step instructions. You can follow step-by-step. But being able to create a document like that makes it so much easier to follow and do. So Jeff asks a very important question. I'll show you exactly what we're going to do here in a second. What we do with that. So basically, you're creating a transcript. So this is a transcript that is being created. Now we'll just turn it into a closed caption. But does anybody have any questions on the kind of the logic or anything specific that you just like, hey, do that again or what? And you guys, you can unmute if you want to chat at me and like, you're smoking crack. I know the person who does the transcriptions for these, she's like shaking her head, or he, I don't know who it is, but it's like, what's this? He's an idiot. So, okay. Let me show you what to do with that document when I'm done. Going back to sharing my screen. All right. So I have cleaned up the text. It's ready to go. Matter of fact, I went and edited it ahead of time. So I have my text and it's ready to go. I've gone through this process. So what I'll do is I'll highlight all my text, all of it, the whole thing. I go back to, let me get back to the kind of where we're at the studios, right? Starting at that point. I will go to videos, look for my particular video, and once again, click on details. I'm going to click on subtitles and select the next option, which has this add button or this add link. So I'll click on the add. It is going to ask you, you can upload a file, right? So you need a text file if you're going to do that. The way I prefer it is transcribe and auto sync. So I click on transcribe and auto sync, and I paste my content there. Next, I select set timings. and it will go through, and this may take a while. So just kind of let it run in the background. And you know, if not, you can click on return to YouTube Studio, but you can let it run in the background and let it just kind of do its thing. And it looks like it's done its thing. And so we'll play it and check it.
Welcome to section 3, talking about humanizing your online learning. One of the ways that we're going to do this is creating videos, and you are going to start creating videos. Cool thing is, we're going to show you a lot of different ways of doing it. One of the things that we're going to do is introduce.
Yeah, so this is not my it's not the, as far as the timing set yet. So I have my drafts, the set timings. That is that should be running. Sometimes I've had to click this and tell it to do it again. But when I go back to return to YouTube, and once again find my videos, back to details, to subtitles, and right now it says that it's draft. So I click on the draft, and now I can go ahead and review those, and they look good. And I just say save changes. And now it should be done correctly.
All right, welcome to section 3, and you are going to start creating videos. Cool thing is, we're going to show you a lot of different ways of doing it. One of the things that we're going to do is introduce you to a new tool called Adobe Spark. With this, you're going to work on kind of a bigger project, interviewing a student for an interview, probably with Zoom. Good way of doing it. Anyway, enjoy.
All right, so now my my closed captions are done. So, all right. What questions you got? Comments, thoughts?
I guess my only thing is it just seems kind of overwhelming, like everything these days. How important is it to have everything so very perfectly lined up for ADA compliance?
Based on the law, like really? Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's not just for ADA compliant. These closed captions benefit a lot of folks, and that's why I'm saying focus on your evergreen content and send that out, right? You know, focus on your evergreen stuff, and you know, not necessarily the weekly summarization of what happened or intro for the coming week, unless you have somebody who is, you know, hearing impaired, then naturally you have to do it. But the evergreen stuff, you know, kind of chipping away at that does a lot of good in a variety of different ways. It's as far as universal design for learning, that, you know, there could be people, for example, international students who come in that English is not their first language, and this will be a benefit because they can see the closed captions. It could be, you know, I do that when I watch British shows that they say it's English, it's not. So I use closed captions, you know, and try to figure out why what they're saying and what I'm seeing is entirely different. So those are the benefits. You know, some of the benefits to do it.
Okay.
It just makes your product better, but it's not something that yeah, you know, to, I mean, just chip away at it, you know, trying to just keep trying to make
Okay.
it
I mean,
better.
I totally, yeah, I totally get all that. And I too, because I watch things in Russian and I always have to have the subtitles on and my husband can't hear. So I am used to closed captioning in my own life and it's super useful.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's so many mistakes and it doesn't have to be perfect. And
Yeah,
so I'm
absolutely.
like,
So really the, you know, also the type of video that you're creating. So if you're creating a more polished, certainly a more polished video, then if you could write out a script ahead of time and you have that script to upload, you know, you just read the script, you upload it, and that's fine. You know, it's doing things off the cuff like I'm doing right now that, you know, for me to close caption, I don't, you know, I am closed captioning all 15 of these sessions that I've done. I am doing closed captions and doing proper closed captions. But I am trading dollars for time in order to do that. I am not, yeah, I'm spending my way to get, you know, keep time in my life. You know, I wish I didn't have to do it, but I don't also have the time in order to do it. So I am using a service, and I'll show you this. I am using a service called Go Transcript. There's others like Rev or something like this. So, you know, for example, they're working on a transcript that I did, I think yesterday or something like that. But so here is a document that is 23 minutes long, and I can download that particular file. Right, so this is the transcript that I get back from them. So I will review this particular transcript and, you know, kind of make sure that it's pretty much in line. And I realize not everything is perfect in here, but it's a heck of a lot better than we started. So I will go ahead and, you know, copy everything from here down to this, and I will drop it into that transcribe and autosync and let it do its thing. When I send this off, probably, you know, within 5 days, I'll have it back. And then you know, I'll spend a few seconds to do that. Certainly worth for me, it's worth every dollar that I put towards it, simply because it has to be done. And I just don't have time to do it myself. I wish I had student workers or things like this. So Tracy asked a question as far as uploading a file. So let's do number 2 here. So this is a 2-minute jaunt into Subtitles. And we will add, and it will ask upload a file. So you can upload a transcript or a subtitles file. So you get to choose the file that you want to use. As far as learn more, it will tell you kind of how to make sure that, you know, that information is there, you know, what type of file type that it wants to use. But yeah, certainly it's same thing, exactly the same thing. So.
Stan, I had a question. this might sound like a silly question, but are you still there? Oh, it looked like everybody froze for a second. If you're posting a Zoom session during a class that you're holding and there's student comments and pictures of them and such, do you need consent from students to post on YouTube, even though it's only being viewed by the class? It's still on the internet?
That is a heck of a good question. I am going to share the conversation that I had yesterday regarding that exact topic. So here is my commentary on that. So, Catherine, this was part of the conversation that Catherine was also involved in, right? She made some great points in here. So, first of all, just because you can record a class doesn't mean you should. I honestly don't recommend it. I recommend that if you are going to create a video, basically create a video as a separate project and thin slice it. Break it up into smaller videos, focus on those particular things, take the class out of it, because the class will just make your video bloat, right? It just adds a lot of extra stuff, so keep it thin. So New York law, as required by New York law, only one person needs to give consent. You can say, hey, I'm recording. That's consent. I would poll the students to determine their feelings on the subject. Well, that's a kind of strange word. So some classes, and we'll get to Catherine's comment below, students may overwhelmingly say, no, don't record a class, right? Or they may say, hey, this is really valuable. We want to get to it again. And you're going to just have to reconcile that with your students. The other thing is, we don't record face-to-face classes as a norm. Okay. You can save those videos onto YouTube, like I said, unlisted, right? So it's unlisted there. The only link is going to be a Blackboard, but that link can be shared with others, right? Once something is digital, it is now available to the world. Top secret classified information, because you made it digital, it can hit the streets. So Catherine made a great point, and that came into my conversation, and I was talking to Nelson, is some classes, you're talking about sensitive subjects, and students may not necessarily want to go public on record, talking about these sensitive subjects. And if they're being recorded, that then changes the dynamics of the class, where they may not participate because it's being recorded. And so you end up with a different class than when you hoped you started with. So discretion is the watchword. And then there's a final link that the U.S. Department of Education clarified, yes, you can record a class and post it in Blackboard. So that's where we're at with that.
Thank you. I'm not likely to do that at all, actually, but I've seen Zoom sessions on before.
So
I wonder how
I would go back to my first point, is if you need to record a video to talk about a specific learning objective or outcome, do that separately without your class, and just a screencast or whatever. Let me show you how this works, or it could be writing or crafting code or whatever, or explaining the 3 different levels of government, and just all those things. Whatever, I would do it without the class. It is convenient to do it with the class there, but that doesn't mean it's good teaching. So that's where my thoughts are on that.
Stan, there's been some faculty that have been making some videos, and they had some feedback they've been sharing with me on this idea of the thin slicing that I was wondering if you could jump in on, and maybe others could too. So what they've been sharing with me is that if there is like instructional videos, like how to do this, thin slicing has been working out well. But if it's like more of what you traditionally do kind of in your lectures, where you kind of weave in some storytelling or more of your traditional lecture materials, the students were giving feedback that they didn't really like more of the shorter videos. They kind of broke their attention, and they liked more of the longer type videos where it kind of just kept going.
Yeah.
And
It's a matter of experimenting. You know, it's all a matter of experimenting. So, Tracy, you asked a question, how much does Go Transcribe cost? What is it? Cost estimation. So you can plug it in. So if you've got something, for example, 45 minutes, and you want it back in 5 days with a clean verbatim, only 1 or 2 speakers, no captions, not, you know, just straightforward. It's with they give you a discount, $32, roughly $32 for 45 minutes, or let's just break that into hours. $43 an hour, or 72 cents a minute, something like that, roughly. So, yeah. All right. What else? Any other questions, thoughts, commentary? I'll take it all right now.
I sent one in. Are you required to have transcripts, or is the closed caption?
Yeah, I saw your
sufficient?
question. So if you have a video and you've got a closed caption, then no, you don't need to also have transcripts. Transcripts, that could be useful. So say that you have somebody else's, that you're using somebody else's video and their closed captions are horrid, you know, and you really, that video is valuable, then, you know, you can create a transcription that you would also share while you're sharing that video, you know, if their closed captions are worthless. So yes, if like audio files, so my podcast, the podcast that I have, I also do transcriptions with it because it's audio. So I have transcriptions available for not entirely all 81 episodes. I still have to upload like 2 or 3. So, yeah.
Hey, Stan, when you made that transcription document, you said there were some written instructions. Do you have that available? You can.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm remiss here. Yeah. All right. New link. There you go. How to clean up a YouTube closed caption. And if something's wrong in those instructions, let me know, but I think I got them right. If you provide students with a transcript, you have to provide closed captions. You know, I mean, since you already have it written out, I mean, if it's if in fact would be a closed caption, it takes but a second to just put them up there. Typically one or the other. Closed captions are best because it's in sync with the video, right? That's why you would want to go there first. So, but if you have a transcript, you know, I think if they took you to court, you would be able to say, hey, I got a transcript. So, so nothing else. Well, I want to wish you a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for once again coming out and visiting. I have one more next week, and we're going to show all kinds of different ways, well, as many as I can show, on how to annotate with Zoom. So come visit.
You have a couple unrelated questions. Can I get in?
Yeah, let me stop my recording here.